Once, my ex-girlfriend called me to look at something weird in the toilet that I couldn't tell her was actually a really early miscarriage, not really weird period stuff, because it would have mentally broken a girl that was already unstable. But I'm dying inside. I just threw a bag of shit across the street to my neighbor's yard after shitting in the garage because the toilet is broken. I thought it was okay because she's really mean to her own kids. But sadly, and I just realized this as I was typing, the kids will likely have to pick that shit up. I'm not telling anyone because I'll probably do it again before my toilet gets fixed. Jesus Christ, man. You guys are awful. When my brother committed suicide, I was walking into his house to go hang out. And I never knock because we're best friends, so his house is my house and my house is his house. Anyway, I walked in to get some food from the kitchen and then figured he might have a girl over because usually he'll hear me and say what's up from across the house, so I didn't bother him. I've been in the house eating for about 10 minutes when I hear the gunshot that killed him. When anyone asks, I tell them I found him like that. I don't think I'll ever be able to tell anyone that if I just knocked or walked down the hall, I might have saved his life. Starting at 5 years old up until I was about 10, I lived with my grandmother, who molested me at least 3 times a week for those 5 years. Never said a word and never will. Any closure it would bring me would not help me more than the close to $1 million estate I'm set to inherit from her. I've played the long con this long. Might as well keep it up. The first person I ever got off to was Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents. Timmy was an average kid. When we were kids, a female cousin and I played doctor around the age of 6 and 7. Talked about it a few years ago around the age of 25, became deeply intimate, and have had really incredible sex several times over for the last few years. She recently got married, and we have since ended our relationship. We are both normal, successful, contributing citizens. You'd never know. Hopefully no one finds out, but I miss her and our level of intimacy. My wife and I were going through tough times. I just got back from Afghanistan. I played Russian roulette with my Magnum, 3 loaded. I lost. I'm getting divorced now, but I'm alive. My dad cheated on my mom with her sister when I was born. She told me while she was drunk at a dinner party and started it all off with, I know I sometimes sound like I hate you, but there's a reason. So, even though I love both of my parents, I secretly think they're both pretty awful excuses for human beings. I went to counseling for abuse after my parents divorced. I was never abused, so they put me in the regular room with all the people who were waiting for their siblings. I claimed my father abused me so I could go to the special room with all the abused kids. It was horrible. I had no right being in that room with all those people. They were really messed up from what their parents had done to them, and I just got in so I could play Yu-Gi-Oh! One night, I woke up with my mind in a twist. My mom was in the hospital at the time, and I had a crazy urge to call them and check on her, but I reasoned not to, because I couldn't think of an excuse, so I fell back asleep. 5 a.m. I get a call that they checked on her and she didn't have a pulse. I just think there was something I could have done that destroys me to even think about. In 7th grade, Joe thought Brandon put the lime salt on his brownie, but it was me. You'll never know. I'm not sure if I'm going to take this to the grave or not. Several months ago, I, 22, had I'm lonely and you're lonely sex with my ex-girlfriend, 19. The next day we woke up and decided mutually that it was a mistake, we should move on, etc. Well, that small mistake turned into a larger one. She got pregnant. We wrestled with a lot of things for the next few weeks. Did she want to consider abortion? No. Did she want to consider adoption? Possibly. How do we tell our parents? My parents would be upset, then immediately turn into the supportive parents they are. Hers would absolutely cut her off, never talk to her again, completely disown her. They told her they would hundreds of times when she was growing up. So we struggled. 1 week turned into 2, which turned into 3. She eventually was 8 weeks pregnant. I get a call one night, last week around 1 a.m. She says that she is heading to the hospital, that something isn't right. I meet her there. She describes incessant bleeding and very, very bad cramps. After 5 hours in the hospital, the doctor confirms what we'd already begun to fear. She had a complete miscarriage, just like that. Then she was no longer pregnant. Even in the middle of this terrible incident, she said she wanted no one to know about it. No one. About the pregnancy, about the miscarriage, about anything. I'm still conflicted. Miscarriages are very emotional events, and I can't go to my parents to talk it over or get a hug or anything like that. It's been a weird, rough few days. Oh, everything turned out fine. I know some girl's gonna hear this and be like,
oh, how can you even say that? You have no idea.
Okay, look, I'm not saying that I do. Can we move on to the next one? You're trying to argue with me in the middle of the thing. Jesus. A friend had an abortion before her marriage. Her husband doesn't know. It was his kid. She swore me to secrecy. I will never tell. My uncle tragically passed away last year. Never married, no kids. Treated his 10 nieces and nephews like we could do no wrong. I also found out that he was probably gay, and I don't think he was out to my family, or at least to most of us. No one would have had a problem with it, but it's hard to come out when my grandma just wants to set her youngest baby up with ladies, you know? She's persistent, but means well. She's also a tad oblivious at times, but she's in her 80s. Anyway, after he passed, my dad and I were in charge of finding files to the book he was supposedly writing about our family. We wanted to finish the book and publish it in his name. My dad was having no luck finding the files on his hard drive, so I took a stab at it. I found dating sites, photos he'd taken, shirtless mirror pics, photos of guys I assume he was talking to, and in my opinion, he could have done better. You're the best uncle and only deserve the best. Also saw his history when I was looking through his browser's bookmarks to get his emails and accounts. I forget if I deleted it yet. If I haven't, I will. I figured the search history was confirmation enough for me. I have no plans to tell my family what's on the computer, minus maybe my cousin who I assume either knows or assumes so, and my sister. I don't plan on saying anything about the search history. Just that my uncle needed to better practice those mirror selfies, and that he totally could have landed hotter guys. I had sex with our dog when I was 11 to 13. So that means either she doesn't remember what age it was between there, or it happened multiple times. Jesus Christ. My girlfriend and I were playing Monopoly. This ought to be good. And she was so concentrated on the game, on the dice, on her properties. She was just so engrossed in the board that I was constantly taking money out of the bank and keeping it. This motherfucker. I feel terrible about it because she was just so adorable, trying to play the game and concentrate on trying to win. I absolutely annihilated her because I had so much money. She wasn't a sore loser about it when we were done playing, and it was obvious I had won. She just kind of sighed and we watched a movie. The whole time I couldn't stop thinking about how absolutely adorable she looked while trying to concentrate and play. The way she looked at the money she had and the property she bought, like she was so proud of them. And I took advantage of that and stole money to win. It's just like real life and you're one of the assholes. I learned that from now on, winning doesn't matter. I need to focus on having fun with her. But I will take this to the grave, because if she ever finds out, she'll be talking shit like nobody's business. Is that 20? Without getting into great detail, More than 5 years ago, I was part of a group of 3 to 5 people that would successfully take the MCAT in place of others for a fee. We were all adept at taking the exam. Our clients were old money types with kids who could not make the cut or didn't want to try. The fee was $100,000 plus any other charges. Fake fingerprints, IDs, prosthetics, you name it, we did it. I had no qualms about doing this, and my reason was if they can't pass the exam, how the fuck would they get through med school? Take their money and let them fail. No problems until one of the clients actually managed to get through school and had racked up some malpractice, thankfully nothing too serious. It hit me hard, to the point of attempted suicide. I quit and went to therapy, and the group disbanded. For other reasons shortly thereafter. I'm doing much better now, but this info is staying with me and the people I know until the grave. Did you enjoy this video? Well, you're a fucking liar. Fucking go ahead and leave a lie in the fucking text messages. God damn it. Later.